Welcome back. We are here already in week 3. And we're talking about purgation. A very old-fashioned word. What does it mean? Okay, so last week we talked about awakening. So you've had this profound experience of God. Now what? You've had a glimpse of the real. That's real with a capital R. And suddenly, it's easier to tell what in your life is real and what isn't. So the next stage is about congruence, about bringing that vision of what is real and how you live your life together. It's a very, very important stage of discernment. It's a very important work of discernment. We tend to define our lives by things, people, and associations. We know we are people of means because we have money. We know we're lovable because we have people who love us and support us. We know we are acceptable sorts because we belong to these various institutions and so on. But an awakening experience cuts through all that. And it reveals all of that stuff to be absolute nonsense. In a glimpse, it might become clear to us that we are not what we own, or who we know, or to whom or to what we belong. And so, this can be very disorienting. Awakening can instigate a profound crisis of identity. So, if I'm not my paycheck, or a husband, or a Rotary Club member, who am I? What am I? The awakening experience gives us a swift kick in the butt down a path towards answering these kinds of questions. For Christians, the surface answer is pretty easy. It comes quickly. I am a person who follows Jesus. But what that exactly means, and the implications of this, well, that often takes a bit longer to sort out. Long journeys, however, are always made up of small steps. And the next step before us is that old-fashioned word, purgation. So once we've had a glimpse of the real, we may not even yet know what it means or who we really are, but it does reveal, and sometimes more easily and clearly, what we're not. In spring, our house is literally filled with fur. My dog is a prodigious shedder, and as soon as things as soon as things start blossoming outside, phoop, there goes the fur, all over everything. Sure, it's annoying, and I know that Judy isn't doing it consciously. It's just that it's no longer winter, and she doesn't actually need all this fur anymore, and so she sheds it. Purgation is similar to this. We might just as well call it shedding. Once we've had an experience of God, we realize that some things that we've treasured, some things that we valued, are worthy of our cherishing. And some things are not. Once we start on an intentional walk towards God, we start to discern what's useful to us and what isn't. What's valuable to us and what's not. What's good, what's not so good. So we cling to the useful. We cling to the valuable. We cling to the good. And the other stuff, we let go of. Easier said than done, of course. First of all, there is this matter of discernment. Awakening makes us ask all the questions. What's useful? What isn't? Awakening also provides clarity. Some things are congruent with the vision that we were given in our awakening experiences, and some things aren't. But some things we really need to consider. Some things we really need to wrestle with. Some things we really need to pray about. So, awakening changes our life trajectory. We're going in a different direction. Everything looks different to us now. It turns our value system upside down, and it begins a long series of serious questioning. Basically, everything in our lives must be re-examined. And we must ask about absolutely everything. Is this useful? Is this valuable? Is this good? And if the answer is no, well, what then? Do we have the resolve? Do we have the courage or the motivation to let go of it? To leave it behind? You know, when Jesus told the disciples, drop everything and follow me, they did. If we are disciples, won't he ask this of us too? And because you're probably squirming in your seat by now, let me point out that the disciples didn't leave everything behind. They didn't leave behind the joy of good food and friendship. Peter didn't leave his wife or abandon his family. Some of them might have given up their jobs, and that's fair enough. You might discern that the job you have now is not congruent with God's call. Are you willing to walk away from it? Our Buddhist friends strive for a right livelihood, and this is a very important discernment. Is my job congruent with God's call? If it isn't, I want to assure you that I'm not talking about asceticism here. God is not just a killjoy asking you to leave behind everything that's pleasurable or everything that gives your life joy or meaning. Not at all. God wants you to be free to enjoy these things. What God does not want is for you to be enslaved to illusions or addictions or anything else that will, in the end, bring you or anyone else pain or sorrow or prevent you from doing the important work that God has in mind for you to do. So what are the kinds of things we're talking about here? What might we need to leave behind? What are the things in our lives that might be out of congruence with the real? Let's take a minute and brainstorm a few of these things. Please go to the wiki site, that is the next thing on your module page, and jot down a couple of things that you think in your life might be out of congruence.